Good day, evening, or late evening, depending on where you are globally. Good day, dear friends. My name is Daria Verdyans. I'm the coordinator of International Community ecopulse, and I bid you welcome to one more multilingual broadcast of ours. Today is the March 10th. Only 2 days have passed since we celebrated International Women's Day. And thinking on how to celebrate this event, we came up with this idea, the idea of this broadcast. Today we will be talking about women in ecology, about how they pick among different opportunities today, since we have lots of them. We'll be talking about their achievements. We'll be talking of how they decide to care and to be powerful. Ecology, women, and care. These are the key words, key ideas that we are going to be discussing today and viewing from different angles. Once again, I remind you, we have several languages today, and to make sure that you receive the information in the language that is going to be clear to you, you will need to pick a language channel. Dear colleagues, could you please show the instruction slide once again? How to pick the proper language, the proper channel.
Select the translation.
Stay with us. We have a great team of interpreters, each in their respective channel, interpreting what we are going to be discussing with our guests. We have 5 of them today. I hope that everyone who wanted have switched on the proper channel. Please switch on the presentation of our broadcast, Women in Ecology, Changing the World Through Care. Today we will hear 5 stories from 5 women who changed the world by caring. But first, I would like to speak about the team who has organized this meeting. In this slide, you can see that our team is not that large. I'm the coordinator. Nuria, my colleague, is also with us. Nuria, could you please say hello to our guests, to our good old friends, etc., and the new friends, of course. Good day. My name is Nuria. Glad to see you. We have a very powerful team of event organization and the interpreters team. And I would like to say thank you to all of them because we have been working for quite a while together on these events. Before we move on to the main topic, I would like to see who also believes that they are the team of ecopulse, the members of the team. Dear friends, in the chat, you can put a plus, you can write the name of your country and the city that you come from. And I'd be glad if I saw the chat too. Okay. Russia, Moscow, Vietnam. Who else? Kyrgyzstan, Moscow. Keep on writing the names of your cities. Of course, we have a small time lag. Nevertheless. Okay, St. Petersburg. We can already see that we are outside one state. I can see 4 countries. Taiwan, I think that this broadcast, as soon as you write all the answers, could be called planetary, a global broadcast. It's great to see this geography. Every time we see it, we feel joy. For those who are for the first time with us, I would like to get acquainted with you, and I would like to show you the mission of EcoPulse project. We are creating an international community of people who consider ecology and eco-friendliness a way of life. It's not a achievement or whatever. It's just a norm. It's the way we live, something regular. For each member of the community, we give a chance to implement their ecological responsibility. We have experience from different countries. We are trying to exchange this experience, giving each one of us support. Before I let you know about our guests, I would like to remind you the names of women who are known across the globe, who lived in different eras, acted differently, but each one of them separately and together, they cared. Their care was their power, and they made eco culture, eco solutions possible and available to wider audience. Some helped animals, not only people. Bear Johnson, Franco-American activist, our first heroine. Zero Waste book gave her a wide recognition. If you know what zero waste is, please raise your hands, put pluses in the chats, etc. So if you share this movement, if you sort, if you recycle, if you follow this principle, maybe you read the book by Bear Johnson. What's interesting is this lady started with her own family, with herself, with her kitchen, with her everyday life. She reduced amount of produced waste little by little, getting into the details of what the wastes are comprised of, how they are created, and how to reduce their amount to make sure that we don't have the garbage footprint, but the ecological one. Bear says you shouldn't be perfect to be eco-friendly. It's enough just to start. And she inspired many people to do that. Another wonderful activist of another nature, Wangari Maathai from Kenya. She started planting trees with unemployed women. She has been paying them for each tree planted. She wasn't supported too much. She was imprisoned and she wasn't supported at all, and she was a hero. This was the power of caring. Her movement, the Green Belt, restored many hectares of forests, and the voice of African women protecting the nature was finally heard. She became the first laureate of Nobel Prize there. And she also said that trees are the symbol of the world, hope, and democracy. If you do agree with her, put some reactions in the chat. Trees, pluses, or whatever. Don't forget to react because these stories are inspiring. And I think even if you put a heart, you already become a part of the result achieved by these astonishing women. The next hero, Jane Goodall, She let us know more about the world of the apes. She never had any education. She had only this urge to go to Tanzania to study the apes. She told us about these animals who can use tools, who they can suffer, they can love, they can show the feelings that we believe to be applied only to humans. This way of treating animals, this view of animals, allows us to be more understanding when we start caring about the animals. She said only if we understand we can care. Salumarada Timaka from India. This is a very heartwarming story. This woman started working with her husband. They never had any children. They adopted many thousands of trees. They planted trees all across their country. They carried water at a distance of many kilometers. They planted so many of them. So, and if you live somewhere in the plains, somewhere in the semi deserts, you understand how valuable these trees are, which are planted near the roads. More than 8,000 trees have been planted. In 2016, she was included in the list of the most influential women of the world. And what she said was, trees are my children. Marina Silva, another image, another style. This is a woman who made ecology political. She was born in the family of rubber tappers. She was illiterate until 16, then she got educated and she became eco-activist. She was a senator in Brazil. She was a president candidate and she was considered as such. Now she is the Minister of Environment and the Climate Change. This is a person who did a lot to preserve and restore the green lungs of our planet. Marina Silva says that sustainable development is the only chance to start the new cycle of prosperity. Sustainable development is not only about environment, it's about education, it's about healthcare, it's about combating poverty. Basically, the UN has put many goals of sustainable development for us. And once again, combating poverty and making sure we win it. This is another important topic of Denica Riadini Flash's work. So you can see here her in the picture. She stopped working on a regular job. She created the sustainable clothing brand. Basically, fashion can be sustainable as well. This brand has Sukhasita in it. She is working with craftswomen, with farmer women. She receives ecological raw materials that are used to produce clothing. No toxic paints, dyes, or technologies are applied here, and what's important is, thanks to the activity of this brand, the money earned are sent to restore soil. More than 50 hectares of soil has been restored thanks to Danica's work. The income of women who are working with her, who are supplying materials to her, has increased significantly throughout the years they have been working with her. As the internet says, up to 60%. And yes, it's the increase of a 1.5 factor. What she says that the opposite of poverty is not wealth, but dignity. If you do agree, please put plus in the chat. I think this is something very important. These are different women, different eras, different methods, different measures of support or resistance. Nevertheless, it's one and the same power, the power of caring. And now I would like to ask you, do you know someone in your own life who really cares, who shows this power? Maybe you know of some great woman we have not named yet. Maybe it's your grandmother, maybe it's your colleague or a friend or whatever. I don't know exactly. So please put the next slide here. Yes, and I would like you to write in the chat who is an example of caring as a power for you personally. Maybe it's someone known to the world, or maybe it's someone only you know. Please share this with us. We would really like to know who inspires you. Thank you. It's good. It's so pleasant that you get inspired by your host. But of course, I'm sure that there are other people. Maybe, yeah, sister and friends, mother. Mothers are inspiring everyone. Yes, I get inspired by my mother too. Parents. Yes, caring as power. I'll be glad if you kept on sharing this because these are inspiring examples. And let's move on to our astonishing guests right now. Oh, children inspire you. So good. Let's get acquainted with the ladies that we have invited here. The first one is Anna Lavrova, the founder of media agency Ecology of Life, co-founder of Sharing Map app, eco-blogger with thousands of followers, 88,000 people, if I'm not mistaken. Anya knows how to speak about ecology and environment in a entertaining way, how to make complicated topics simple and clear. Anya, please switch on the mic and the camera. I bid you welcome right now. Good day. Yes, I would like to ask lots of questions to you right now because you have many interesting projects, and I hope that you have answers for me. Yes, let's give it a try. Okay, Anya, in this world, the values are always around success, competition, sales, individuality, etc. But you've decided to be responsible and caring. You have not just chosen this path, this has become your way of living. And what has been the pivotal point for you when you understood that this is what you want to do? This is your calling. So, how did it actually happen? Well, it happened little by little, and at some point, about 10, 15 years ago, when I graduated from the university, I started learning to earn money because I wanted to earn money. At some point, I created media agency promoting various projects, not only environmental and eco projects. The social media was only developing back then, and together with a small team, we were advertising everything, promoting everything you can come up with. Uh, Lingerie and utilitarian stuff, etc., different projects. And at some points, I understood that maybe this is not something I want to do. Maybe this is not my way. And if I have resources, if I have internal urge to promote something. I want to promote something good. At that point,
Books are also great story, but step by step, the topic of ecology absorbed me completely. Absolutely. And now my main focus is only on ecological or social projects. And it's very hard for me to imagine myself in something else, even understanding that the world of capitalism, successful business, or something else is much more profitable, sustainable, but still I want something that I dedicate most part of my life. Let's be honest, we work a lot, but we want what we do to bring some sense, and I would like to understand what I do it for. Thank you so much. There was a great word, sense, understanding. Anya, and you have a big audience, many thousand people, and that is huge responsibility when you bring some information home to this audience, especially now when social networks are source of super authentic information and nobody is doing fact checking. Tell me, please, within the sphere of responsibility, which is the biggest difficulty on your way to enlightenment and what helps you to sustain responsibility and sustainability you keep on talking about for many years already? Well, responsibility, right you are, is to publish authentic information. And in the world, when you are a blogger, not a journalist who keeps on traveling to different places, getting to know people, projects, and ecological problems, that is truly huge responsibility because you keep on writing not about the place where you are in. Yes, there are bloggers talking about eco habits like staying at home and talking about what they do at home. For me, public is kind of news media platform. We talk a lot about what's happening now, starting from violations and up to development of projects, legislation, and some other uneasy topics. People write a lot to us. Our subscribers write a lot to us. Well, we have a problem. A plant is making exhausts, and well, we talk quite a lot about eco protection. I'm very happy to the subscribers who write about it. But what if it's not true? How can we check whether it's true or not? And now we have a guide how to double check this information. We have volunteers who double check this, who get in contact with activists and so on and so forth. But until now, the moment of responsibility is still there. We keep on quoting why we talk about this. Well, sometimes we make mistakes, and I can tell you frankly, when I started doing this, I made a lot of mistakes. But the main thing is to acknowledge your mistakes and say, right, you are. Thank you, my subscribers, for having indicated these things. And I'm truly grateful, and I'm always happy for our subscribers to be so much charged and motivated and ready to share their experience and expertise. Great. And you have mentioned the mistakes, and the one who is not doing anything is not making mistakes. And again, I would like to ask about this audience. This audience is very diverse, is truly diverse. So, how can we find words, right words for all these people to talk about ecology in an interesting and live manner and not to scare people from this topic? And we all remember the image of eco activist that used to be kind of unpleasant for the majority of people. Well, that is a very difficult facet, as on the one hand, I have some internal mission as to what is important to be talked about, and I understand that we have some goals. We promote such topics as cancellation of using animals. We call people not to buy fur coats if possible, to eat only planted foods, and to reject one-time usage objects. For some people, it's complicated, and not every person is ready to do this. And they would ask, like, well, people, are you normal? Thank you. I would like to live my own life. On the other hand, we have a lot of activists among our subscribers who keep on doing it for quite a long time. And we would like to be interesting for all of them. It's a difficult facet, but we keep on searching for a balance. And the most important thing is sincerity to describe sincere what we find important. But once we talk about wide audience, there was such a thing. Well, it happens that we are reposted by popular bloggers who have more than 1 million subscribers, lifestyle bloggers, and they are not related to ecological agenda at all. But something captured them, and they decided to talk about this. And sometimes there are hundreds or thousands of new people who see this splash, and they say, "Well, great ecology, important and fashionable." And we're talking about exploitation of animals and not wearing fur coats. And of course, then people do no longer are our subscribers. And we understand that sometimes people will feel on like, well, people are talking about this and this is important. So we are keeping our own balance, being supported by some kind of niche that we have, but we still understand that for some people will think about it and then they will arrive on the values that we share. Great, it's really important. You keep on talking us, and behind your project, there is a team, girls sharing the same values, right? Well, as the project started growing, initially the blog was quite small and now it's really big. Well, in my team, I have one more person who is arranging the blog together with me on regular basis. Tatiana is a wonderful person, and now she is in within this agenda. And there are volunteers. There is a team of eco protection, and that is really great. Great girls. And what inspires me, we have published a calling in the blog. Well, maybe somebody would feel like doing this topic with us, and people reacted. All these are girls, and they are from different parts of Russia, and they are from different countries. All of them are Russian speaking from different countries, and it's very nice that they are starting from school children up to people who have rented and retired. Well, when I asked people, I was really inspired that these are people of different age and of different interests. Great. That is really wonderful. That is really inspiring. And I would like to ask about your project Sharing Map. That is an application where one can exchange things which are not required in on good conditions, but which are no longer needed instead of buying new ones and facilitate this production line. I would like to know, do you have some funny or touching stories related to these application and exchange of things which take place there? Well, there are touchy and funny stories. Naturally, myself and the team dealing with the application, we are active users of that. And when I give or get something, I always get to know people, how they arrived to this, how they downloaded information, and how they got to know about this. And there are a lot of different stories. And one of the touching stories, which we then discussed with the students of High School of Economy, and we made an animation video from this story. But I would like to describe it with my words. We had a lady, and for several times she collected toys, and one of the toys I gave it to touch her, and my neighbor wanted to call a big automobile. I said, "Do not throw it away. I will take it to Moscow and I will share it with someone through our application and somehow." And this automobile, I had an almost full truck of this, and there was a woman. And when we met, we started talking, and we asked her, "Well, how did you get to know about the application and what else?" And she told a story that her son went to a hospital on regular basis, and there was the same automobile, and he was driving it and was very happy. Then he recovered, and he didn't have to go to hospital, and but he missed this car, and she found this very car in our application, and then she even photoed that how a guy drives around in this Mercedes. It was a Mercedes, even it was a toy, but this is a touching story being combined. And our mission is not only for people to get and give, but for people who communicate. But this is about development of local communities. And I have experience when we started being friends. Somebody invited to have coffee in the bar and borrowed some plants. This is about communication and not about some ecological component. Great. And at what territory does this application work? Now it's Russia and big cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg, and we also have Samara and Staraya Skol, but we plan to grow. There are some ideas of going out of federal network. Well, great. Maybe somebody wants to become a partner and develop this application so that it would become available for exchange of good news. Anna, please tell, there is a question in our chat as to reactions after posts and positive results. And I would like to ask, what do you find more complicated, to create viral content or to convince a person to really change everyday habit? Well, I will answer both questions and I'm going to have different answers as about reactions after posts. Well, first and foremost, I would like not only to talk about this, but to come to some changes. Well, I would like not only to have changes when a person implemented this habit, but when something changed systematically, and everyone who is dealing with ecological projects, and we want to have great changes. We want the world to change for the better. We have a format, not only blog, but site with guides when we talk about how people manage to install composting part in their yard or some difficult stories for grow, which are not available for everyone, but for charged activists, but that invites people to follow. So these are materials for the future. They are also useful. And we have an example. After we made the first guide about composter, how people installed it, which collects food wastes, people got inspired. And in their yards, they started installing composters. And with our guide, we recommended what they should do, how to collect all the signs, and people were inspired by this. And the materials where we keep on talking about how people made like wonderful eco point in their yard when people collect a lot of fractions and sharing maps well and send it to the officials on how they can implement it in different parts. And for us, that is an inspiring story as we understand that we share this experience and it can result in some changes. And talking about what is easier to make people to sort garbage, to change their habits, or to make viral content. Well, I think that it doesn't contradict to each other. When we make viral content, a person would watch it once, twice, or thrice, and then it works. As it happens to me when I started sorting out or changing some ecological habits. You see it once and next and again, and I saw I was reading a book, and on first touch, I felt some reaction and I realized that I cannot continue in the same way. So viral content is good as it captures a lot of people and the person sees one, two, three times and then something changed and they saw it from different people. Like they use Eco Cup and I can use it and I cannot develop too many one single use cups. So it's important to see your task and to understand that it will react and people will become more ecological. It's so great, Anna. Thank you. I heard about the art of easy touch, several touches to your target audience, which inevitably results in step-by-step changes in our thinking and ecological culture, and also to those very systematic changes which we all want. Friends, it was Anna Lavrova, and I would like to ask you to switch on the presentation for the next speaker. Anna, thank you so much for what you do. Please continue. All the best. We wish you a lot of success, coverages, and viral videos. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your invitation. I would like to say that this company is so much inspiring. And when I saw who is going to participate, I said, thanks God, how I came here, such wonderful women, and I will be happy to listen to all the stories. Colleagues, next slide, please. Our next speaker is Daria Igumnova. Daria founded an eco center in a small town, in a very small town, Myshkin, in Yaroslavl region. This project of Daria, well, due to this project, Daria has become a prize winner for ecological awards, and she shows that for big deeds, we do not need a big city. We only need a will and readiness to be careful. I am very happy to see you. Hi. Now there will be a question to you. I know that you have created an eco center in a small town where there are no processings of wastes, and you have collected money for the eco center. You started everything from zero. So, what inspired you to do so? What is the tumbler? What is the bifurcation point saying that from now on, I create this eco center in Michigan and nobody is thinking about it? Well, actually, it started back 7 years ago. On 10th of March, its anniversary, 7 years since we have started actions on recycling wastes. The first promotion was done in Rybinsk, which is not far from us, 40 kilometers away from us. And after 2 weeks, the first action for waste collection was in Myshkin. Myshkin town with 5.5 thousand people population, a very small town indeed. We do not even have a processing. In our town, we do not even have waste bins. Oh, wastes are collected by a waste truck. So the posts about that people will be able to recycle some fraction in the city, simplest one like metals, uh, waste paper and waste batteries and caps, plastic caps. Well, that there were people who were engaged in recycling, and they are not in Michigan, of course, and even those who accept wastes are not in Michigan. They are like 40 kilometers away from us, in 120 kilometers away from me. And well, the fact that I got raw materials from people and I had to deliver it. Sometimes I managed to earn something, sometimes not, but how it worked, I do not know how it worked. I decided to try, and it took 7 years. For the first 5 years, I was without Eco Center. I arranged waste collection with my own car, and then I collected money to deliver it in a more convenient way. And I collected this for the wastes. And then I became awardee of Green Awards. And that was the basement for idea to create eco center in Michigan to store it. It was not convenient in Michigan, and we wanted to have something more. And in order to get this award, equal to 150,000 rubles, I dreamt of purchasing a building for eco center because to keep on asking for money for rent for some waste, I didn't want to do this. I decided that I will ask only once. I will collect money. I will buy this, and nobody will push me away. Nobody will tell me, oh, what you did this, and no pressure. Well, I didn't want to work with this. And for 2 months, starting from January to April, February, and March, I dedicated to collection of money, and I have collected almost 700,000 rubles and purchased this small building. That was a small shop which has been closed many years ago, but it had heating, water supply, doors and windows, but a good small shop, 50 square meters. And for 2 years already, I get materials for recycling, and we share and collect things, clothes, books, and items. I arrange ecological enlightenment initiatives. People come to me, or I go to schools and tell children about recycling and about the Volga, a series of works about and that we have to save Volga from weeds, as we have our city located on the Volga River, and it's very important for us. It's a really inspiring story. You have mentioned that you have collected money to purchase Eco Center through crowdfunding. What was it? Well, to collect this money within 2 months is quite impressive. Was there something which really touched you? Did you get some messages from people who donated to you, or there was some sum of money, big money or beautiful money, or maybe you know about something that these are like people, they have donated all their money. Oh, well, at the stage of idea, I never doubted that I will be successful in this. And people supported me. They wrote some messages. We met, they supported. Well, Dasha, I think somebody called. Well, the issues of Echo Center called for her attention. So, colleagues, dear friends, Dasha is back. Can you hear me? Yes. Yes, we can hear you, and we can see around 700 people from the whole country participated in this. Somebody sent 100 rubles, somebody sent 10,000 rubles. There were a lot of posts and reposts in Echo community, and big bloggers also participated there, and small bloggers. So everyone wanted to take part in this big undertaking. And of course, the most touching transfer, that was in the end of money collecting, end of March. It was my birthday on 24th of March. So one lady wrote me, and I never knew her before. like maybe I saw her in some communities. Daria, how much money do you need? How much money do you lack? I said, well, I need 400,000 more. Well, I have collected more than half, but I need half more. And she writes, well, I will close your collection. At first, I didn't believe, I didn't understand what kind of joking it was. People should not joke like this. And then, within 5 messages, we have resolved this issue. And she sent, within several days, she sent me the whole sum of money. There were limitations for one day. And within well, till the end of March, we have resolved it. She transferred money to me, and on the 2nd of April, I have finished the deal and I have purchased this building. That is a surprising story. Well, I can call it only, well, an activity. Because if it never happened, I wouldn't know how I would deal with this. Somehow there were other buyers, the price started growing. Well, the last week was really concerning, but I let it go. I decided, well, if it is meant for me, it is meant for me. Well, if the garbage is sorted out, it means that somebody needs it. Well, that is destiny. From that time on, I'm a happy owner of an eco center. Of course, that is really great. Well, I have my own eco center. People can envy me. On the other hand, that requires a lot of work, a lot of responsibility, a lot of time because, well, super pooper team. Well, I do not have a super pooper team who would just do it on the finger spot. Well, normally my family members help me. I have 3 kids, my husband, and there are people from our town who are also supporting me and who physically help me to sort out wastes, who help me. Well, sometimes they help to arrange transportation, but basically I'm the one who is responsible for this. I have to load it, I have to sort it, I have to do educational work. I have a group of 1,000.5 people. They're all my people. I know many of them personally. These are people living in the town and people from other towns as well. And it's very nice to see likes and comments from all the subscribers because we understand that I'm doing it not in vain and this activity is really in need. So that is why these are the tempo we live. Of course, we could have done more. We are willing to do a lot of things, but I do as much as I can. And I believe that one should be able to combine volunteering, family with many kids, and to establish this balance. And I succeed in this for 7 years already. Great, Dasha. Balance is absolutely right. But I understand it perfectly well that whatever you enumerated, you are doing on your own with the help of your family and citizens. Most likely tiredness is here. There are difficulties. But what is your support from inside when you get tired? What helps you to continue for these 7 years? Oh, well, I think this is the burden of responsibility for those who depend on me because well, sometimes people you met somewhere, they say, well, take the plastic caps, and they would give it to me immediately. Or when I arrange a monthly action, I travel around the town to remote districts. And well, it takes like three, but I make 3 stops, and people approach me whatever is convenient for them, and they give waste for recycling. And there is a point of live communication. I look into their eyes, I see them, that they're ready from months to months, even though I scold them, why this is not properly washed, why this is mixed. Okay, okay, next time I will do this, we can do it ourselves. But I see that they're engaged 100%. And of course, this positive nature supports me and charges me, and that is the belief in the fact that we will win altogether. That inspires.
I see. Responsibility for those whom you have taught to do separate garbage, etc. So sounds good. The responsibility for this system, for this recycling, for this thought through eco-friendly caring for the waste, etc. It shouldn't be actually carried by a fragile woman from Michigan. And I have a question right now. If we could make wonders to change something in the way we're treating the waste, how would you actually change the situation in the country, in the world, maybe? So these problems exist everywhere, this way or another. Well, first of all, we have to change the mindset of people. We need to switch from this endless consumption, endless stream of goods, throwing out goods, etc. So to switch this mindset, to change this. So shift it. And of course, you have to start at childhood. You start with yourself, and then you give it to the older generations, to the younger generations as well. You have to reteach and retrain people on every possible level. So, and then people are going to have this right ideas. Well, if I were a president, let's say, I would start developing the recycling facilities. We need to support them. We need to build smaller factories in every single corner of the world. It shouldn't be only in Moscow or Chelyabinsk or wherever. So in Tver. So it has to exist in every available location which is suitable for that to make sure that the citizens of city would provide these items to this factory, this plant, not to deliver it to some far off location. So, because at the end of the day, maybe it's not going to be viable and sensible because it's going to be stored here and there, reloaded, unloaded, washed, etc. So, of course, it's going to be cheap, but it won't be cheap and it won't be viable. And Russia is large, and of course, the plants have to exist everywhere. If the consumption is going to be reduced, then the factories won't be in such abundance. Well, it's the book by Bear Johnson which can help us here, right? Yes, it's all about economy, it's about ecology, about being sensible, etc. So we need to think of this balance. I don't know if it's actually possible. So of course, but we are doing what we can on our level, on the level of our kids, on the level of kids who are visiting the eco lessons. They have their open hearts, open minds, and I hope that the children that are going to grow up, we have already planted the seeds in them. I hope that these kids, when they grow up, they become parents, they become officials, maybe when they are going to sit in those chairs. They would accept volunteers who would ask for rooms for eco centers. And they would say, yes, I know what it is. I've been doing this when I was a kid. So, and because right now they are always shocked. Or what do we do with this garbage? What do we do with this waste, etc.? And I am hoping that in the future, when these children become officials and when people actually come to build the recycling facilities, they will take the money for that and they will build them and not to steal them. So, and of course, if it's going to be some leak, they would remove it and not just bury it underground. And this should be something more than just money. Of course, I'm a perfectionist on this. So it's our common goal, actually, being eco-friendly in our lives, in mundane affairs, in professional life, etc. So we are walking hand in hand to achieve this. I would like to ask for some numbers, Daria. You have a small city, 5,000 people, 1,500 subscribers, as I heard. And how many people, what percentage basically of the population of your city is actually visiting your eco center? Well, it's hard to calculate. I was asking myself the same question. So during my campaigns, I have about 20, 25 people on a daily basis. I see goods with recyclable wastes. Well, I don't know how many people deliver it to our eco center, but I find them day and every day. In a month and a half, we calculate a big bag, which is basically very large. It's as big as I am. So we gather blisters from the pills, etc. So, and we collect a whole big bag of that. So people are taking care of ecology, etc. Of course, it's not everything that they are recycling. Maybe it's only blisters. Some grandmothers are gathering them so for themselves, etc. So I don't know how many blisters are actually gathered by a single person. So and we have in those schools a box for a caps, bottle caps. So we are collecting the bottle caps. We don't know how many people how many people gave them to us. People are coming to me from neighboring regions from larger regions. They are delivering them to me. So, and we actually worked throughout the whole institute. I don't know how many people were gathering those things in those bags in the institute. And we in our team are going to schools, etc., to hospitals. So, and I had this person who I call them shareholders. So there was, yes, it's an investor, right? Yes, she was working in the hospital in the canteen, and she would collect all the Tetra packs, all the bags, and everything. So it was the whole hospital which was gathering it all. So, but once again, I think we have the same situation as across the whole country. Well, I don't know if it's true. Maybe you have more people there compared to the whole country. I hope that you are going to continue this work and the amount of participants is going to increase. And the children that you are supporting are going to grow up to become eco-responsible directors of plants. They would become ministers. And green future would be ahead of us. Dear friends, if you find this experience interesting, how to start these campaigns, how to recycle those wastes in smaller cities, in larger cities, in villages, etc. We will share the contact details of our speakers. You can come to them, ask questions, and I'm confident that we are going to create checklists and some recommendations, the secrets of success at whatever. So, something which can inspire all of us to care for our common home. Thank you very much for what you are doing, Dasha. Thank you for being with us today. I would like to move to our next speaker. Please switch on the presentation. Yes, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you for inviting me. It was actually surprising to me. So, and oh, my my daughter came to me, one of the most active participants of our campaigns. Okay, hi there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on and switch on the next presentation. Together with us was Daria Igumnova, and right now I would like to invite to our green room, so to say, to speak about something important. I would like to invite Daria Tokareva. It's an interesting case indeed. This wonderful lady has created a brand, Spawn. It's the furniture made of mushrooms. Yes, I didn't misspeak it. So this is something produced by the mushrooms, by the fungus. So I don't know if it's future or alternative reality around us. Nevertheless, we would like to learn a bit more about this. Hello, Dasha. Yes, good day to you. This is something fantastic. What you are doing is fantastic. Could you please tell us a bit more about that? So, you make furniture out of fungi, right? This sounds very weird for a regular person. Well, I guess that there are many players in this industry, but I think that you are one of the pioneers. And I would like to learn a little bit how actually you got into this fungi furniture life. What was the starting point? Well, the starting point for my startup was the moment when I worked in production. We spoke about manufacturing processes, and I myself saw many things in this in my work. At that very moment, my reality has shifted because I have been doing art since I was 5. I started doing design projects, and I found that we are actually contaminating nature with these wonderful projects of ours, with our designs. I wanted to clear things, of course. We don't have this in reality, the production without any waste. No, it doesn't exist. I just wanted to reduce the burden on nature. So in 5 years, we became full-fledged production. We are producing the decorations, the furniture, and new materials based on fungi. So why fungi? They are growing very fast. We taught them to grow very fast in 5 days. We're not gluing anything. They just take shape. It's just like a tree, but it doesn't take 50 years. It takes only 5 years to raise such fungi. And we create various characteristics. We just change various characteristics to make different shapes and different textures. Well, honestly, it still sounds like something out of sci-fi. I mean, you are creating future. This is innovative. This is the way it sounds. And I think that when it comes to innovations, there are lots of challenges all the time. So what was the biggest challenge on your journey? And how did you overcome it? Well, as always, money is the challenge. It's the biggest challenge which exists in general. I started during pandemic, not the best period in life of the whole planet. People across the globe stopped believing in ecology because it was the survival of humankind, and we decided not to think about some eco problem. So I couldn't get enough grants. At that moment, we received 120,000 rubles, and I invested 1.5 million out of my own money. Then we started moving to the first sales, and the problems with the sales started. So, because we weren't a non-commercial organization anymore, we had our own development. And we had international partners who were working with us, but in most of the cases, people didn't believe in this. They didn't want to invest into it. They didn't want to get involved and see the future. We had problems with the investments and the first clients. And it took us 5 years to actually overcome this challenge, break this system, and find our own niche. Because our own niche is elite right now. So we started the markets, we tried the mass product, and we understood that all the new technologies are elite, just like fashion. So, and right now we have found our consumer, eco-friendly consumer. So it's something environmental who wants to work with eco-friendly materials, and it's also rather high segment. So we are creating mass product. We invest into bio eco segment. for the construction materials, etc. They are going to be suitable for mass production, mass procurement, mass construction. So, and we have taken care of the financial problems through making premium products right now. And this helps us to actually create new development. It does sound really good. Environmental friendliness in premium segment. It's good to hear that there's actually demand for that, because it would feel that this is the area where consumption is at its highest levels, and because the opportunities are there. But it feels like it's more about conscious consumption. But still, it's unclear what's the nature of this technology. What exactly do you produce? And could you please tell us, in simpler words, what it is about? Okay, we have fungi, we have mushrooms, the way we see it, but we don't take the mushroom itself. We take what is growing underneath this white web. So if you have been to the forest and you took the mushrooms, they always actually tell that you shouldn't damage the mushroom. You should cut it with the knife. So it's a mycelia which is growing underneath the mushroom itself, the spawn. So we created the special mold that we are filling it with it. So, and this is a special type of mushroom. So, and while it is still rather soft or rather fragile, and so we just put it into a mold. So let's say we have a mold of a chair. We put the fungi there and it grows there. So in 5 days, it grows to the maximum. So its connections are created. So it becomes more rigid, it becomes more so, and it becomes better. So, and we stop all the processes for growth. And at the end of the day, it's just like a cut tree. So, we cut a birch, we stop all the processes of the growth. Let's say we are killing the mushroom, the mycelia without any chemicals, and we stop all the processes of growth. So, through this variability of the cycle, we create various parameters on rigidity, on density, etc. So, and some of these items can become more dense. So, this is furniture. Then, something more light is the decoration. So, that is what we're doing. Furniture, and we can make some decorations. So, vases, or maybe tables. Some tables can weigh 50, 60 kilograms, and this is mycelia, the spawn. This is the structure of organic life. We also create construction materials. The logic is the same. So, but this is the plates. These can be the insulation, these could be some materials like the wooden planks, etc. So, and some things for interiors, etc. So, this is something we're developing very thoroughly, and right now we're implementing it in production to make sure that we are making the mass product, to make sure that the volumes are greater. Together with that, we have a lab. We continue experimenting there. So we are experimenting with leather. So this type of leather. So it was initially something of art nature. And now we're thinking that we need to work on this a little bit more because the market is demanding for that. Large brands are coming to us and they're saying that you accidentally received leather, some texture of leather. Maybe you could actually use it, give it to us too. So it's premium product, which is actually demanding this. So once again, this is the high segment here. And as the experience has shown, it's the premium who got tired of the waste. And yes, this is the demand for ecology. Ecology, organics, aesthetics, long-term service, etc. So this is something, well, natural. Yes, something natural, exactly. So, and also multi-use. Fast fashion is something of a past. Oh, it's good that fast is leaving the stage right now. Oh, yes. In the very beginning, we spoke of sustainable fashion. Yes, we would like it to be a little bit slower. You know what I want to ask you right now? So you spoke of it a little bit. So what you are developing right now. But if we start fantasizing in, let's say, 10 or 20 years, how would our houses look? So, where do mushrooms lead us? Where can we actually integrate this mycelia in? I can hear it, yes, design, construction, fashion. What else? Well, out of what we managed to learn throughout these 5 years, yes, construction, fashion, design, mass products in the construction. It could be also recyclable packages, or it could be actually the goods for the cemeteries. So, and we have products which degrade in 12 months. So, and once again, if it comes to mass production, we need to have composters. So, and this is technological offer, but we need to create a system which is going to adopt this offer. Same thing goes for ecological packages for the dead bodies. If the market is ready, we are going to launch it. But once again, if it's not ready, we are not going to do this. So, to answer your question, yes, this is something large for the research. We have conducted this research already, and we need to integrate it. And it also could be the research which are yet to be made. I think when it comes for the future, we can apply it in many fields. It sounds very interesting. Yes, it's applicable to every field and area of our life, whatever that is. You know what is interesting as well? When you are speaking about the furniture for made of mushrooms, when you are speaking to regular people, what is the most the reaction you see most? Maybe something which is surprising to you yourself. I don't know what is surprising to me myself. We heard so many things in 5 years, and sometimes you laugh at a joke that you have heard 100 times, pretending to be amused that somebody came up with this. The reactions are usually rather predictable. So there are several segments of people. So some get shocked, they say this is impossible. Segment number two is saying that this is fungi, so this is going to get us all killed, etc. So you are saying that this is not just a regular fungi, etc. And the third segment is making jokes about cats, etc. So and about drugs and so what else are we selling? So basically, yes. Well, you segmented your target audience on the based on the reactions to your offer. That's fun. Dasha, this is indeed something surprising and astonishing. I'll be watching how this whole thing develops. I hope that this is going to be a mass product. I would like to have it in my interior as well. I would like to say thank you for being with us today because, yes, we are speaking of different things when it comes to activists, etc. So, and entrepreneurship. It would feel that ecological solutions in the field of business are misunderstood at the initial stages. And this is something you have already mentioned. I wish prosperity to your business. Thank you very much. Thank you for this broadcast. Thank you too. I would like to invite the next guest of ours, Yelena Tkachuk, co founder. Dear colleagues, I hear interpretation in the Russian channel. Yes, let's give it another try. Yelena Tkachuk, co-founder and manager of the Eco World Hub, in Vietnam, Nha Trang. You can see that this is also something special. It's about initiative in a small town, or maybe it's a big town, who knows? So, and nevertheless, she lives there far from her initial location where she lived. So, and Yelena created Russian-speaking environmental community in another country. What could it be? It's a heroic feat of caring. Yeah, so Yelena, I'm going to ask my questions to you right now. Motivation, inspiration, etc. So, where are you located now? Good day, Daddy. Good day to all the listeners. It's a great chance for me to speak out here. I can speak about our community in Vietnam right now. It's a great chance indeed because lots of people from CIS countries and English speaking countries are traveling across Vietnam. And of course, they want to support the ecological habits. Right now, I'm in Moscow. It's a charity project. It's not a non-commercial organization because the bureaucracy is present all across the globe. Of course, we do not want to attract too much attention from various agencies, governmental structures, etc. So this is a something which warms our hearts. So we are not earning any money with our friends and colleagues. We earn money in Russia, in Germany, wherever we live. We have a lady who lives in Europe. She earns money in Europe and she spends it in Asia. Yeah, she spends money on creating ecological community in another country, right? This is my first question. Creating environmental community and ecological project in the country where you are considered to be a guest. Yes, maybe it's a long-term presence in the country, but it's all about challenges, right? Because you are in another legislative and legal field. This has to be, you have to be very inspired to actually do this. And what was the starting point? What made you actually decide to create this environmental community in Vietnam? Well, let me put it simply. For a very long time, I have lived in Russia, in Moscow, in a large city with so many opportunities. People think for you and they implement those things. You live there and you don't see the benefits that you have. And at some point, so designers actually have this problem. So when everything is made perfectly well, you just use these flats. You live in the apartments and everything is fine. When something is going wrong, you get irritated all the time. When I was on vacation, I was walking the streets, and I'm actually a traveler with great experience. I've been to many countries, Asia, Europe, etc. I've been to China several times. So, and I stopped treating a country just like something large, etc. I'm a person of the world. I'm a citizen of the world. So, Eco World Hub has this idea that the world is united. So, and there are locations with a larger concentration of people with some ideas, and there are locations with lower amount of people, less people. So, and the internet is helping us to have a dialogue with everyone across the globe. We can disseminate these technologies. When I came to Asia as a traveler, I understood that this is something I don't feel comfortable in. So I've been sorting waste for 6 years by then. So I can see that there is no separate collection of garbage in Fukok. So it's a location limited by the boundaries of an island. So, but you cannot do it anyhow different. So, and we took, we've learned that this is not a culture present in this country, and the locals are using it just to support the poor people to do that. So, and this was their way of thinking. Then we had this chance to go to Ho Chi Minh, to Da Nang, to Hue, etc. We stopped in Nha Trang because our friends have lived there. And during the first week, I started looking for people who actually think about this, at least somehow, who take this task as their work. And I found these ladies who organized the wastes removal. If you traveled across Asia, you know that the culture of actually throwing wastes in the garbage bins is not developed so much.
There are a lot of organic wastes, number one. And number two, due to infrastructure is not being well developed there, the way it is developed in Russia, as in Moscow, like multi lines. It's not there. And in many areas, like in provinces and villages, people do not bring garbage anywhere, but they just leave it there. So, as a person who has been sorting for a long time, I could notice it immediately. It was quite in times that there was a group of people who really cared. So during the first or second days, I found myself in Nichang. I met these guys and they say, well, like you are founder, I'm a co-founder. I came when there was already a group of activists, up to 10 people, and they already had this need. But I managed kind of to accumulate my experience in events and ecology into something more sustainable. Let's put it like this. And there are no difficulties with bureaucracy as we are not a legal body. Our main support is related to people, to community. There were a lot of words by previous speakers about the support, and you are only supported by people. When you do not have proper resources, you remember the encouragement of people who came to you and they share their energy with you, and you are saturated by that only because in some alien environment, in difficulties of language barrier, it's not always easy to agree with locals, but with Russian speakers, you can always agree, you can explain and highlight. And another thing I would like to share about people from Vietnam, they were born there and they accept nature, fruits, flowers, sun, and seafood all year round as if it should be there. They have not seen anything else, so they cannot value the diversity they have. And as a person who lives in Moscow, when 10 months you have winter and cold, you come there and you're surprised that there is a totally different world. Even if you have the same planet, in details, we're still different. So having different experience when you get up 5 in the morning, you take 3 hours to get to work, and when you come home, it's already night, and you find yourself in a sunny and warm country with abundance and beauty and everything, and you see the difference of relation to nature. Well, I could not but do anything. I could not have done everything I wanted because there is language barrier, norms of what's good and what's not good. We have quite different cultural code as long as Vietnamese are smiling, positive, welcoming, at the same time relaxed, and they are never in. Well, once you tell to a Russian person, come for half an hour, we'll do it, and then you'll be free. We got used to it. Well, for Germans and Chinese, it can be different, but for Russian speaking and CIS countries, we got used that working is okay. And in Vietnam, people got used that having rest is okay. And one has to support, sustain their level of life because you can sleep in the night in the street and you will not die. But in Russia, if you do not come to work, you will stay outside and get cold. So these are bad stories. Well, cultural code for Russian speakers is more arranged, like we are. Well, not Russian speaking, but those who are from north and from the south. Those who have cold climate, they have limited frames. to provide for a warm season and cold season. There is specificity. So I go step by step. It's really interesting. Within these peculiarities, different cultural code and this requirement for recycling collection of waste. So was that integrated into local things? Was the local population there? And you arrange your work of your eco center. Well, I will specify first and foremost. Well, Eco Center, we were really supported by My Sky Co-working, an organization which provides working places for Russian speakers. And our main community are related to Russian-speaking guys. When we make cleanups, we are seen, and locals join us. In November, there was a strong flow, and the participants of Eco Center arranged for collection, invited bloggers, and then everyone was there as the whole city was flooded. First floors were flooded in central part and closer to the beginning of the river. And in regular life, to explain to Vietnamese about recycling is quite complicated. For now, for collection of metals and PET1 plastic bottles, only those are interested who have a low income, because these are the two fractions that are taken for money. So in Eco Center, the fractions which are taken for money, we do not take in order not to arrange competitions like this. Whites came here and they remove food from us. Well, this was this misconception, like eco centers should be monetized, purchase rags or something, purchase advertisement and make content and so on and so forth. So with two other girls, that was our solution, that for sure we do not want to have bad reputation, competition, and so on. In Russia and in CIS countries, we are on our land, and there we are on somebody else's land. And when you come to another country, you do not arrive with your own arrangement. And when they collect cardboard, you see that there is interest when people come with these bottles to Eco Center, to our Sort Easy events. And well, morally, there is no opportunity to say, I go to Eco Center. We motivate to sustain this balance, like regardless of the fact that we live like Russians who came here to Vietnam, Russian speakers, live there for 2 or 3 years, and there are different legal opportunities to leave and to come back, and to arrange a legal staying there for a long time. And we always understand that the state provides for local population, protects local population. We do not compete. We find way to move on from commercial to a more exhausting thing. But the issue with financing is still there. It's kind of charity. And knowing that there is a different country, different territory, different rules, different norms, there was some progress to move from eco center to production, to produce something locally, some small fraction of like cups and everything. But we know that we need a legal body, we need language, we need to somehow resolve these issues, to pay taxes, to hire people. Well, so you need a local partner, right? Well, I know for sure that among our audience, well, possibly right here and right now, those who will watch it in recording, there will be people from Vietnam, and I see that in our chat there is some message. Unfortunately, I cannot understand this. Maybe our curator, our coordinator will translate it for us. Maybe there will be this collaboration arranged, which will make it possible for us to cooperate in this sphere to popularize ecological solutions. Well, what I would like to ask you about, partially you have touched upon this. Well, there are some arrangement for recycling and waste collection. You know, Russian experience. Maybe you can see what we could borrow from Asian approach or vice versa. What which experience of Russia would be useful in Asia? Well, as I understand it now, currently in this issue, the Russian Federation as kind of state organization is a little bit more accelerated. We're closer to Europe. We say that, well, most part of Russians speak English. Well, as to according to Maslow pyramid, well, they do not pay to anyone. They are developing countries, and the needs of second or third level. There is growth of population and ecology, development of developed nations who have already close to their basic needs, who have some food, and they do not think about this. In Asia, there are still regions, financial, economic tasks, care for children, and a lot of elderly people. For now, I haven't found methodologies which could be implemented into Russian approaches. And Russian approaches have needs for improvement, but saying that Asians need to do it similar as in Russia. In Asia, there are high developed countries like Singapore who have properly arranged technologies, and 98% of wastes are recycled. Task number one is not to consider this problem from specific country, but to consider efficiency of production technologies. And step by step, Eco Center doesn't have a task to resolve the problem of the whole country. We have a task to make a problem of plastic visible. And when they said, have you known that there is Eco Center? A person would be more conscious about this. You know, there are experts and early followers, and there is technological development. And joining technologies, we should take it for us to become a bridge who would make this problem visible to all these people. A great mission. This is about shaping culture, shaping demand, and your projects are about satisfaction the needs of those who have this need. I see that a community has not only issue of recycling and separated collection of waste. Please talk about brightest project of Eco World Hub, which changed a relation, attracted attention of locals and tourists. And tourists, I do not know how that worked. What was it? And how it influenced the situation? Well, thank you for your question. Actually, World Hub arranges different kind of events. This is separate waste collection. It might be the Eco World Hub and Eco Hub specific topics, master classes. So we discuss it, we do something, and we also have swaps. That is exchanges when girls get together, somebody is selling something, or there can be like lessons of sewing and use, creative approach. Stylists can also provide recommendations on how to look better, like how one can arrange men's shirt, reuse, and so on and so forth, and cleanups as regular thing with small number of people and a large scale arrangement. And the basic experience is related to large scale events. And I have prepared information according to my feeling. There was a good cleanup not far from Longshan Pagoda in Nechan, quite a popular thing. This is local sacred part, and the treatment is like I drink something and there are no dustbins there because the garbage truck cannot reach that place, and there were more than 200 people cleaning there. We have collected the garbage, and there were quite a lot of steps, more than 500 steps there. And there were boys and girls. We have collected all the plastics. And the second important thing, and that was at the background of flood. Well, it's painful because the process was painful. A big number of houses were demolished, and when the cleanup, you have half of the city, and half of the city is working manually, and the other part is provided for provision, bringing gloves, water. All the Vietnamese brought and delivered lunches to us. So every Vietnamese person, it was quite noticeable for locals. Every Vietnamese was striving to bring fruits from the market as charity. Well, our Slavic guys, well, averagely, well, they are bigger, and Vietnamese men are smaller. And what one Russian can do, one requires three Vietnamese. And when you have palms from there, and we have engaged machines, people, and everything. And we have collected a lot of views. This was a disaster. Well, and well, the rain was quite soft, but it took a long time, like a week or two. That was really painful. And part of the people, by the end of the flood, even before the water was removed, they were starving. And there were, but still there was no mortality. And positive things were like when we got together, and we have around 200 people there, and people came to cleanups in and sort easy, not in a regular way. And at one point, when we have already developed a brand, when we have prepared a concept, brought everyone together, we have made an event, live event to get acquainted. The most important thing in eco community is related to people, and I have arrived at the conclusion that eco community is about belief. And if a person doesn't take care about the planet, it will be removed from the planet. And I do believe that the nature will live here. Those who are careful. Wonderful. These are wonderful words to summarize your speech. Belief in the wisdom of nature and active participation, co-participation in this wisdom. Thank you so much, Yelena, for your experience, for the experience of co-founders, girls with whom you have created this project together. Please keep on developing this. I do hope that due to this trip and the posts online and online video, and you guys and girls will get to know about your community, and those who are already in Vietnam and those who are going to come there, and our colleagues from Vietnam will possibly join and get some new growth push and inspiration. Thank you for your participation. Oh, well, I would like to invite our next speaker, please, presentation, and the final speaker will be by another wonderful girl, Antonina Mazeva, Chief Director of Aircraft Company, who are dealing with the monitoring of forests and extinguishing of forest fires. the girl who is a pilot and eco activist and ceramic worker and art director of coffee shops, and who is also from a small town, Minusings. Antonina, please switch on your camera and microphone. I'm very happy to welcome you here. Are you here? Oh, well, I can see, Tonya, that you are here, but I cannot hear you. Colleagues, please allow Antonina to switch on the microphone. Please let us know. Well, great. I'm so happy. Well, all the ladies are incredible, all the ladies speakers, but we have we're touching such a male profession, fire extinguishing aviation, and at the same time eco enlightenment. Well, something like ecology in professional activity and in hobbies. Well, how did you come here? What was the starting point? When I was preparing for the speech, I decided to start with the point that I consider myself a successful case of implementation of ecology since childhood. Currently, I'm 26 years old. I am soon going to be 27. My ecological path started from 14 years when my sister started inviting me into participating of cleanups. I hope that our beautiful interpreters will be able to transfer cleanups. And please be slower so that interpreters would be able to interpret. I am speaking fast normally. Well, when I was 14, I started my way in ecological projects. We started such a big step, a big breakthrough from first cleanups, and they were with our acquaintances who made the first step. And in such places, you get inspired and you are upset when there is no cleanness or desire to clean it, to make a separate collection of cleanups. And there were not enough developments in this sphere. Still, it was quite natural. Well, I wanted to make it from the depths of my soul. So the first reaction of people around this, well, it was negative to some extent. It was mixed with a misunderstanding of why we're doing this and some devaluation of and absence of support and desire to show that they are better, that they are not doing this and we're doing God knows what. I remember it quite well. And when we collected Eco Camp, and there was cleanness which we noticed. And we saw that the dust bins were not cleaned and there was not this system for the city. I saw it. And after 10 or 12 years since I started my activity, I understand that all the time of my growing up, eco habits were an indispensable part of my life. For around 20 years, I was observing eco fashion in 2019, 2020. It was promoted, it was spread around youth. For me, as the one who was descendant of ecologically aimed sister, it was natural, and I saw other girls implementing that into their life due to fashion as eco bottles became fashionable eco shoppers, no matter what it was like. reconsumption was also there. I observed it, but it was really great that you were not pointed and nobody says that you are mad, that you decided to deal with ecology and vice versa. That is a different part, and you get interest in this. Then my activity with family brought me to aviation, and our joint activity is related to more global issues, more global aspects. That is protection of forests and being as pilot instructor. I cannot say that I am dealing with ecology directly on the one hand, but on the other hand, nevertheless, this is all the activity which is directed to protection of forests. And what do you mean you do not deal with ecology? Well, it seemed to me, well, right, this is the understanding. It became clear to me due to ideas of people that we are doing protection of the lungs of the planet. It was quite natural to me. And then second year of my activity, and I realized that that is the activity in a more global type. Professionally, and these are much more initiative activists. And what you do is professional activity. So I wanted to ask you, you see what's happening from the top. And what do you see? That scares you now, or does that inspire you? Well, I would put it like this. Cutting of trees doesn't inspire me. One can open a Google Maps and you can see it with your own eyes, or being there. That makes you uh, think about this. So when I started flying and seeing big spaces and understanding that there will be enough space for everything, and when you are next to the waste. And well, we had experience in Eco Camp to deal with some small wastes, and it seemed like all the world is garbaged. And from the top, you see that there is a lot of waste, but it doesn't mean that we should waste all of this. And this is kind of idea as to studying climate conditions and as to location in the same place for 5 years. I can tell you that I am upset that the weather is definitely changing. There is big growth, rapid growth establishment. I told about it in Eco Forum in Samara last November. So the weather is changing much faster, and it doesn't make me think positive. But what can be done about this? Well, I think that we can only observe it and make only own steps which can influence our ecological condition. I hope you know what I mean. So changes in weather conditions to worse are there. Before, if there was a weather front or thunderstorm, and I do not, well, it can change within several hours what could change within several days. Well, say again, please, for our audience, when you observe this, what is most concerning for you and what encourages you when you watch our uh, forests? Well, that inspires, and I do share it through my activity when I come from flights, and I have resources and inspiration to show the beauty of our spaces so that people would have the same natural desire to take care of nature, to do everything possible to protect it the same way I do this. I think that is incredible inspiration from nature, from the places where there was no human. So there, well, being in Siberia, and we are always happy to invite people to Siberia, doing tourist educational programs, increase popularity of our places for locals and for tourists. Well, Siberia inspires this naturally. And I would like to notice the following thing. This story in Minusинsk, it's not sufficient engagement of local population to take care about of nature. And people want to come here. And people who are here from childhood or from generation to generation, they do not have such a bright desire to take care of these places. And we try to change the situation. Great. And that is what Lena mentioned.
Basically, Lena spoke of this. You see things as something given for granted, and you don't value this due to that. And it's good that there are people who create this culture. I do understand that you are doing this in your own work. You are protecting this primordial forest, so to say. In your additional projects, you lead people to understanding what beauty there is to touch upon. Could you please tell about your own educational projects in coffee shops? What exactly do you do? In what format do you host these dialogues on ecology, etc.? So those are the visitors of coffee shops, aren't there? Yes, we created this project with my sister. We've been through this, so this is my eco bringing up as well. Coffee shops have become an attraction point in a way. We don't have a large city, so they become points of inspiration, of dialects. It's not a coffee shop just like in a large city. You don't just take a coffee cup and run away. So it's a place for designers. It's something which inspires you. You have new thoughts. You have new people, like-minded people here. You live, you get inspired. For me, it's a part of ecology. It's a part of thinking. These are the places for inspiration for me. We have this background, so we came to create such coffee shops. We could not find a way to speak to people in an eco-friendly manner. So we know that people like to take their coffee cups, etc. So we were looking for the biodegradable caps for the coffee cups, etc. So, and well, basically, if you cannot combat this, you can offer an alternative. And through popularizing this, through being creative to thermal cups design, etc., we make engravings on the cups, etc. So people get interested. So if they like what we show them, they want to take this with themselves. So if they buy these cups from us, they enjoy drinking coffee from them. They come to us, we give them discounts if they come with their own cups. So, and they take their designer cups and take them with them. So we make discounts for them. So, and I'm currently in a very cozy coffee shop myself. So, and everything is filled with this. So, and the administration ordered wooden furniture. So this is eco-friendly environment in general. So there is reception here. There are materials with environmental information, interesting, entertaining. The bartenders are always glad to speak to the guests of the cafe. They discuss interesting questions. They help them to get deeper into the coffee culture, into the environmental approach, because people see the logos and they want to learn a little bit more about it all. So, and we're always ready to speak about this. Well, it's so good because it's the topic of the family, two sisters. two like-minded sisters, and I can hear that this is also about profession, it's about business, it's about being creative. And once again, it's about caring on different levels. Yes, I had masterclass and workshops on shopper designs. We made prints for them. So, and it was a very interesting project for me. So, and once again, it's much better to buy these shopper instead of plastic bags. And this was something we got people involved and interested, and we can see that people are carrying it with them. So it's not something small. So it's a part of the habit. Well, thank you very much for your comments. It's great that you find this interesting. No, it's not a small thing. Neither of what we're talking of is. This is choice. This is a step. Those are actions which lead to changes. Thank you very much for being with us today, for being with our wonderful ladies here. So thank you for this dialogue. Your example is also very inspiring. I think that our colleagues are going to come to you for your experience in particular. So if you are watching us today, if you are watching us in a recording, you are definitely going to be interested in this. Thank you very much for participating in this session. Yes, it's my pleasure to be among the people who are interested in this, who have something to share, to inspire people. Thank you very much for that. Yes, thank you. Could we please switch on the presentation once again? Well, five stories, ladies and gentlemen. Five beautiful ladies, absolutely astonishing. We are so different. Some are putting out fires, some are gathering caps, bottle caps. They meet their neighbors and take them from them. Some are growing chairs made of mycelia. And they are all speaking to the audience. They create communities in other countries to make sure that they can solve something they're used to, some tasks that they got used to. They are all different, but something is uniting us all. We do care. We s- decide to be caring. This is power for all. This is not a fit. This is your choice, everyday choice. Some do this for years, 7 years. Some of them spoke of 7 years. So the Spawn project, etc. So, and everyone can do this. Little by little, we change this world and the lives of people around us. Thank you to everyone who has been to this broadcast. Yes, it took us some time to get through this broadcast, but it was very interesting indeed. Thank you very much. Please follow us. Before we finish, I would like to ask you, what inspiring ideas and principles that our guests have shared you are going to take with you? Share it with us, please. What inspired you? What was most intriguing for you? Maybe this is going to be a point from which you are going to change your own lives. Yes, if there is love for the world, everything will work out. So this is the motivation. Yes, Marina, there will be recording. So what I saw here was everything which is being done by the ladies is a part of creation. It's caring for the surrounding people, for everyone about the world. So, and it's done sincerely, and it's done out of love to ourselves and to the world. And this is our way. So if you haven't joined our social media, join our international chat and follow the news. Very soon, we're going to have the recording of this broadcast. You can share it with your friends, with your acquaintances. And in the beginning of April, we're going to have another broadcast dedicated to restoration of forests. Thank you very much for being with us, and goodbye to all of you.